Maggie item.
No, but you got me out of that. Because
To the
when you were
office.
like, Chris, why is everything flowing? Said,
I
'cause
don't
I'm
know what
huge.
my size is. Because everything's just dropping off. I was like to Maddie, I was like, do you like me like this? He's like, well, I love it when you wear my clothes. It's like, you started this. Because he's actually him.
No,
that
but men,
started it.
I believe your partners are the ops. Because Malachi would be like, don't touch me.
Man
Don't
would grab
touch
my belly and
me.
be like, but I love you for you. I don't care about
I
you.
don't care about you. It's not about you, sir.
That's
I've
Usher
got
love
you.
me. That's Usher love me. That's what I want to know. I don't care about you. I got you a long time ago.
Brent, are we recording?
Good.
Oh, wicked.
Yeah, I just feel like they're rubbing on someone saying they love you the way way you are.
Shut up. It's not about you.
Do the ladies think I'm fine?
And
Am I
that's
the
what we do it
inspo?
for. Because when the stylish girls are like, girl, I'm like,
Am I
she
the
talks to
inspo?
me.
I don't care
She
about you.
talks to me.
Who's put me on their mood board? Who
Word.
saved me on Instagram? Nobody.
Who thinks, oh my God, I just want to dress like her?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Nobody. And that's what matters. I don't give a
Not
damn on what
you.
you think. I've got you. I got you long time ago.
Words. You're here. You're dead there. Hi guys.
Hi.
So first episode, it might be,
If this gets out to the public,
of how we got here.
we just got here.
What?
You said how we got here.
Oh girl, please, I've been drinking,
You
please.
forgot our own podcast name. This is not
We just got here. How we
starting
got
off
here.
great.
All right, yeah. So first episode of We Just Got Here. How we got here. No, it is We Just Got Here, guys.
We just got here.
With myself, TR, and my bestie.
Your homegirl, Steph.
So what we talk about today, apart from our struggling road.
You know what we should start with?
What?
How was your week?
Oh, my week's. Oh, yes. All right. My week was great because it was rained into me things that we forget, right? And I'm going to keep it quick. So I feel like we're living in quite a time where everything is very, very individual. And obviously it's because everyone's broke and everyone's sad, right? So it's very individualistic. And it's been like this for a while because, again, as I said, we've just come out of COVID and everything's just like, what can I do? How can I get myself forward? Obviously, we've lost key parts of our 20s. We lost most of our 20s, though, but nobody at me, man. I am 28 because those 2 years, will I ever get it back? Anyway, so we've all become very like, what can we do? How can we push ourselves forward? And I think we've become very individualistic. And this week, for me, it was reined in how much community and the success of your people around you enables us all to succeed. So I had a situation at work where I was like, last minute, someone pulled out of a gig. And I was like, well, my network's not there, guys. And I called on one of my most talented friends. And she was like, girl, I got you. So-and-so can do it for so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. Bish, bash, boom. And we made stuff happen. And luckily, I knew the person already. So it was just nice. And the whole environment, when a person came to work, it was like just a nice environment of connection. And it really reined in how the success of everyone around you is your success. And I think sometimes we forget that when we're so in our own lives and in our own, like, oh, what am I doing? How am I? And it's like, actually, wait, hold on, what? Like, big up the network of your people around you, like your network also. And let's open ourselves up. I realized like, actually, I want to get to know people more. I want to put myself more out there to like connect with people because they're doing brilliant stuff. So yeah, that's my lesson of the week. How was your week?
My week was stressful. So Usher added another date to his lineup.
Wait, you were doing this week?
And bear in mind that I lost out on the initial pre-sale and general sale. Please tell me why. I was going around telling everyone, yeah, Usher added a new date. Yeah, the pre-sale's on, I think it was on Wednesday at 10 a.m. I was even correcting people on the time because some people were saying 12 p.m. I was saying, no, it's 10 a.m. Like, set your alarms. Who forgot to set their alarm and missed the whole thing and didn't realize it was 2 p.m.? Yeah, so I've missed it. Hopefully I can get a ticket in the general sale. But apart from that, this week has been hectic. There's a lot going on. Work-wise. In fact, it's there's a lot going on because I basically have been trying to get my work done by Thursday so I can prep for Saturday. for everyone, so that everyone's aware of what's happening. Basically, I'm going to the Brits on Saturday, and my whole week has revolved around getting as much work done so I can find time to do my hair and nails in time for Saturday. And if you're a Black woman, you know to never do your hair and nails or anything on the day of the event because anything can happen. So it's been stressful trying to fit everything in, but I've done it. It's done.
You want to show the nails? Go on.
I'll show the nails for everyone that can see. For the people that can't see it and are listening, it is basically a French tip with a bit of funk in silver chrome to match the silver accessories that I'm gonna wear. But
A stylish babe.
I mean, I'm trying. You know the Pinterest boards that you like, kind of like you're saving nails and stuff, but you never actually do it. I'm actually trying to actually do it. Only thing is that my nail tech keeps like interpreting it in his own way. Because if I show you the inspo
Artistic
picture
direction.
and I show you my nails, there's a clear difference. But I just give it to him. I'm just like, you know what? It's okay. It's fine. You tried.
Your
Because
boss.
it's fine. It's fine. Because last time I tried to actually get him to stick to the actual inspo picture, I was there for 2.5 hours. So sometimes you just need to leave them. It's close enough. So it's fine. But yeah, apart from that, yeah, my week has been, good. I've been trying to do this thing at work where I wear one like non-baggy item of clothing and a bit of makeup because I've just realized I actually don't know what I don't know what my clothes size is because I think it's from the pandemic.
It's from the
I've
pandemic.
just been so used to stretchy clothing and baggy clothing that it's become a lifestyle.
Flowy, don't forget flowy,
and
a little flowy.
So I end up going to work dressed like a truck driver. And it's something that I'm really trying to work on because I know I have tomboy tendencies and I can be a tomboy, but it's not my like true self. So I'm trying.
And you're such a stylish babe as well.
Yeah, but
I've always been.
Thank you. So are you. Shout out to you. But yeah, I'm trying to like work on wearing more fitted clothing because I'm convinced that my colleagues don't know what the shape of my legs look like.
I'm so tired.
Because but the thing is, I'm comfortable. But I realize how dangerous that is. Because sometimes I'm in the mirror, I'm like, you took it too far. When I'm in my baggy t-shirt, my baggy jeans that cover my shoe, I'm like, I've took it too far. So I'm trying to like...
I've seen those baggy jeans as well, innit?
They're baggy. That's what you call shake jeans. Nah, they're baggy. Like when the wind blows, it rumples in the wind, like kind of like it flows in the wind. So I'm trying my best to like, if I wear like one like baggy like clothing item, because I have to be realistic. I can't just jump straight into it. This is like almost 4 years of baggy clothing. So I try and wear like just one piece max of baggy clothing and then something tight. But I think today I've done really well because I'm wearing a fitted top and fitted trousers. So you can actually see that I'm not just
you have legs
flowing in the wind.
You actually have
But
legs.
it is a battle. It's a battle. But I'm trying to like my best to even just be braver with like the clothing that I buy because I like statement pieces.
You do?
I've always liked statement pieces. Like even my trousers, if you can see it on camera. If you can't, it's green and black, like patterned. I've always liked statement pieces. So it's just like kind of becoming more confident and comfortable with wearing them and being loud because I am a like loud character.
You're getting there though, because we have conversation about this all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, wear this, and we go for it.
Yeah, like and actually go for it. So even with like the Brits, the dress that I bought, I probably would have never worn that like 2-3 years ago. But it's just like trying new things and weaning myself in. This feels like a therapy session, but yeah, I'm trying new things. Steph is in her grown era. Turning 30, I said when I was turning 30, I wanted to be more braver in terms of like how I express myself through my clothing. I think I did that on my birthday because I wore that. What was it? Where was that dress from? Never Fully Dressed. That
yes, I
green and
remember
blue
it, and
dress.
it's very Never Fully, just really, really, really bold, and that was a thing for you.
It was a beautiful dress.
Oh, it was
And,
gorgeous.
like I'll say to anyone that's turning 30, like really think about what you want for yourself and like things that you're scared of doing. Try and do them. For me, like I never. Well, actually, technically, I'm not gonna take credit for this. I'll give Chris, Tia, credit as well as
thanks.
My husband credit as well for throwing me a surprise birthday party. I don't know. I've never really celebrated myself on my birthday. I don't know. I find something really needy about it or embarrassing. Like, that's a bad way to think about it, but like just having like had the surprise dinner that was followed up by a surprise party. And then even with that birthday, just being like trying new things. Like I got the cake of my dreams from my dream baker. Lily Fellini, shout out you for that 3-tier cake. I will try and stick a picture somewhere so you guys can see if you're watching this on YouTube and stuff. But that was like the cake of my dreams. And then like I got a dress that I really loved. That was a bit more revealing than what I'm used to. And then I had another dress that with the silver number that no one actually got to see, but I got that from ASOS. It was like a
I
a
saw that,
risque
didn't
dress,
I?
yeah. And I took photos in that, but like, yeah, no, I think I swear you just asked me how my week is, and I'm just here babbling on about my life.
Well, on that note, though, let's talk about New Year's resolutions because was that one of the things you wanted to do for the new year? Like,
Yes. So that was actually one of the things I wanted to do for my New Year's resolutions was to be more brave with my style. I'm very much a Pinterest babe, so I can stay on Pinterest for hours getting style inspo, etc. Things that I want to try, but sometimes it just stays on Pinterest. So what I'm trying to actually do is actively like try and like delve into like, but how would I say my not in I hate saying era, but my fashion era basically. Like actually
say
like
it, baby.
being intentional about the pieces that I bought. Like, oh my God, I bought this incredible Kai Collective coat.
You
So
bought the coat
in hot pink during the sale.
Sorry.
And I kid you not, when I put that coat on,
she said, I'm here.
it's like,
Wow.
I don't even know how to explain it. It's like my
Wow.
true self came out. Like, I don't even like, you know the scene in Cinderella where the godmother waves
Just
the wand
does
and then
yeah.
it was magical. And I was so proud of myself because when would I have ever been brave enough to buy a hot pink coat? Because I feel like when you wear a hot pink coat, you're saying, look at me. This is me. You're commanding the room when you walk into it. And it was just so well fitted and it was just incredible. And yeah, I just want to replicate that feeling with all the pieces that I buy. So I've been slowly building up. Like, I'll be buying my small stuff, like my Simon Miller disco ball earrings, which I absolutely love. Shout out to Fizayo Longe for even inspiring me to get those earrings. But just buying little pieces. Because yeah, like, why not express yourself, man? Life is too short. Why do you want to be mute and blend in and stuff? Yes, if your outfit commands the room, let it command the room. Like, why would you want that?
It's true. And this goes on to like the topic that we're talking about today because I feel like so much of our 20s was spent just dealing and
shit.
trying to work ourselves out and trying to be like, oh my God, I feel like this and I don't want people to think to be. And like, I feel like finally we got to the point, and it's not to say that when you hit your 30s, this is what happens, but I just think it's a natural evolution of, I am tired.
Yeah.
And I want more.
Yeah.
And then you just be like, okay, let me just show up as who I am, not
exactly
what I want people to think of me or what I'm scared people will think of me. Do you get what I mean? Like, let me just be, because it's easier to just be. And then obviously, yeah, so we're talking today about anxiety in adulthood and how it's like showcased itself
in all areas. I'll tell you that.
My God.
And actually, I think, you know what, it's actually great that we're speaking about this week because actually I had an incident related to work, and it was such a small thing, but it made me realize how anxious I can be and how I overthink things. So basically I'm trying something new at work where like we kind of like we have more contact with like, how do I say, clients and stuff that like bigger names, I'll say, because I can't say too much. My boss might be watching this. Hi. But yeah, and I found that like usually I'm calm and cool with like meeting people of that status because it's part of my job.
Yeah.
But I found myself feeling really anxious like half an hour before because I was doing it for the first time in a new space, and it was like something that I was essentially kind of like, how do I say? We were leading without actually like, like the, how do I say this without saying what I do?
Without the reputation of the businesses you've had before? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, because it's a pretty big company. I think it's more of like we for the first time we brought them in, like my group. It wasn't through like the wasn't through like the A&R or something like
Okay,
that. It was like
fine.
something. So I was like, okay, cool. Like, why am I feeling anxious? And it's more of a like, okay, how am I going to be perceived, or what
Mm,
do I say, etc. And I felt myself being really anxious. And I was like, wait, hold on, Steph, this is your 10th year. Like,
yeah, yeah.
why
Yeah.
are you so anxious? And I think it comes with the whole, because it's like a transition. Obviously, I've been so used to working in a particular environment, and this current role that I'm in this current company, is in like in a completely new environment. It's a completely new way of thinking. And you're almost coming in as an educator. And sometimes I feel like I get anxious just thinking of even just being reminded that I'm here to educate and people are looking to me for answers,
Yeah.
etc. Especially with me, where I still think I'm 5. Like all of this, even though it's 10 years in the making, for me, my career feels like it's been like a flash
Yeah.
before my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, I'm in this space where, like I really struggled. Like even when I was in my previous role, I really struggled with people viewing me as senior management.
I remember you saying
I
this.
really,
Yeah.
really struggled with people seeing me as senior management, because I know I have the knowledge. I know that I've done the work, and the achievements are there, thank God. But I really, really struggled with people looking to me as senior management, because for me, it just happens so fast. And I like to think I'm young at heart. I'm used to like,
We are. We are.
as much as I'm independent, I'm very much like a baby. I've used to being the baby in my year group. I'm used to like my friends, like, yeah, they know that, you know, I'm like, I like business and all of those things, but I'm also very much a baby. I'm very playful, etc. So to come into the workplace and people are seeing me as senior management, and I'm expected to kind of present myself in a certain way, that made me really anxious. I'm very conscious of how I'm perceived
Mm-hmm.
in the workplace. And I think it also made me very anxious. I was like, okay, if people see me as senior manager, I must be an adult now. What is an adult? What does that entail? How do you act like an adult? How do I kind of make myself come across as older, more senior to maybe younger people?
Yeah, that confidence has to
Yeah,
elude.
confidence has to
Yeah.
elude. And like, yeah, it just made me really anxious, and it made me really anxious in the workplace, because it felt like I constantly had to remind myself, or even be reminded, that I'm senior management. Like, this is
Mm.
fine. Like, people come to me for answers, people reporting to me.
And you've got this. Like, you've got this. Yeah.
And just like, and also like, even with like being senior management, like what kind of line manager do I want to be?
Mm-hmm.
Because
It's
I know
important.
like a lot of people probably overlook this, but I think your line manager plays a big role in the trajectory of your career. And I always wanted to be a line manager who, like, I want my direct reports to know that I've got their back, and that, I'm here for their development, and they can come to me for support and things. But I
And you
also,
always remember those line managers as well, to be fair,
yeah,
when you're
exactly. But I also don't want to be the line manager that's too lenient. And do you get what I mean?
friend, yeah, and that you can get away with everything
So
with.
yeah, and yeah, and I think that's a battle that I have in a lot of areas in my life, like being the adult, being stern and firm, but also being the person who's also approachable. Like, I'm naturally funny, I'm naturally friendly, etc. And sometimes that can be read wrong, especially I find that some people take that as, oh, you can walk all over me, and then I have to quickly
Mm.
switch to
And
the
then
firm person.
one thing about Stephanie, which I love, yeah, is because do not try her. Because Stephanie comes across as so like, oh, I'm nice and da da da. Do not ever piss. Stephanie is not the one to cross. That's the word I want to say. Stephanie is not the one to cross. And like, obviously, I've known her since I was 8. So there's constant banter about seeing people cross. I'm like, that's a bad idea. That's a
It's-
really bad idea,
Do you know?
guys.
I like to be firm when necessary, but I'm also like, I'm not I'm not like I'm never gonna be rude to you on the first instance. I don't believe in being like rude and stuff like that. I'm very much approachable, but it's also I very much believe in balance. So I will be firm when I need to be firm. And that's not because I enjoy being mean or whatever, but I do realize that if I don't do that, then people will not take me seriously. And in my line of work, it's really important that people respect me and take me seriously, because
Mm.
as a marketeer, I'm your advisor. I'm telling you what to do in order to get the results. And if you don't respect me enough to actually listen to me, then it's not gonna work. So I would say that's an area I'm definitely super anxious in, and I would say just adulthood in general. I think um when I first when it first became apparent to me that I was getting married, I became very anxious about what kind of wife I would be.
Tell it again.
Because obviously there's the wife that my parents want me and imagine me to be, and there's the wife that I'm actually am, which is essentially just Stephanie, but with a ring on it on her finger. A lot of people when I was when I was about to get married, the thing that people were telling me is, "Oh, Steph, don't ever change. Please don't change because of marriage." And I was very confused. I was like, "Change for what? Like, how am I supposed to change?" And it's something I was very adamant about. But then I became worried because with everyone telling me that I shouldn't change, does that mean that I'm expected to change? And I'm not gonna lie to you, before I got married, I thought, yeah, when I get married, I want to turn to this mature, sophisticated. I want to wear proper pajamas to bed. Yeah, I'm gonna always have my hair done, and I'm gonna walk around the house presentable and always cook and set. Trying this, it's just not sustainable, sis. Within the first week, I was definitely in my bonnet and my ripped t-shirt. But
also, if that's not you, it's not you.
It's not you, and I think that's a one thing that I really want women that are coming into marriage or just thinking about it or in a relationship to understand is like you getting married doesn't change who you are. Like you are essentially the same person but with a ring on your finger. There's no magic wand that gets waved around the place and all of a sudden you're a mature, woman who's always put together and doesn't wears
meal prepping, doing this, doing
it's not sustainable in this economy where everyone's working.
Let me tell you about this, yeah. See, because I had a time. So at one point, obviously, I'm an A girl. Am I an A girl? Am I an A girl?
An A girl.
A girl.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. You're
so
very much outside.
I'm an outside girl, yeah? I'm an A girl, all right? So obviously, met my boy of my dreams, took him off the market, great. And then I was like, oh, what does this mean? And it was a couple months of sheer panic where I'd call my best friends and I'd be like, where are the engaged girls in the club? Where are they in the club? Because I want to be in a club. Like, I love my partner, do you know what I mean? And I want to build a life with this person, but also I want to be out with my mates. I want to have a great time. I am a music junkie. We all know that. We grew up doing events. We grew up, music was our thing. Do you get what I mean? It still is our thing. So it was like, where are the people that are outside and who have partners? Are committing themselves to her life because, it can't just be me one. And so, I'd be with talking to you, my friend Rox, my mom, I just don't feel like I'm suited to this. And it was eventually, and luckily I've got a very understanding partner because he was like, Tuesday I married you for you. So if you change, that ain't the person I wanted to be with. And then I think I relaxed and I started to understand that our generation is really good. And I'm really proud of us for this. We really redefined what it is to be and you've said it previously to me, adulthood isn't the adulthood of our parents.
Yeah.
And yeah, people to be fair, we are single for longer, but we all also are living our lives for ourselves for longer. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? It's not like we're not being forced into these positions and then mashing up a home. Hopefully, God willing, we've still got to see that, guys. But, we are actually getting to experience and live the life we want to live rather than conforming to these ideals of what
a wife
or girlfriend or mother should be. And I really love that for us because that living in that would it would depress me. It would make you nervous because when I thought about this idea of what that should be, I was like, I don't know how I can fit into this. I can't fit into this space. It's not obviously it's for me. I love this person, but I'm not this. So where do I fit in the world? Do you get what I mean? And obviously you've got the issues of how people perceive you and whatever have you, but you kind of work that through your own self-confidence and how you want to deal with the world. But that's kind of, you always go through that. But yeah, I really love that for us because I think that as we get older, we kind of just been like, do you get what I mean? Some of my friends are so happy being single because they're like, girl, I love them. Okay, some of my friends aren't happy being single. I just want to say that it's got out there and we understand the jungle is the jungle. We're not saying that. But I'm lucky enough to have friends and they're lucky enough to live a life where they're like, I like my peace. I like the space I'm in. I like having the freedom and I like not being accountable to somebody. And that is also beautiful. Do you know what I mean? That is, be accountable to the person you want to be accountable to. Do you get what I mean? And don't be accountable to anyone you don't want to be accountable to. We have that freedom now. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that's beautiful. And I think it's up to you to define what kind of marriage you want with your partner. And also, you know, I think having an understanding partner who genuinely wants you to be happy is also like a privilege that a lot of people don't talk about. Like,
or have.
Like, we talk about marriage and like us wanting to get into it, but we really don't understand what it entails, if we're being honest. Like, I didn't realize that, you know, when I argue with my husband, we're still going to be in the same household. It sounds dumb, but bro, the first time we had an argument, like, in our flat, I was literally like, I can't go anywhere. Like, I'm literally going to beat this man in bed. We're going to go into the same bed and sleep. And I think there's I think when you're in a relationship, you have that privilege of, you argue and they can go like a couple of days without speaking to each other, like in your houses and stuff. But when you're actually, why is this turning into a marriage episode? Okay, cool.
It's really an anxiety episode, so
we are. I think what people don't realize is that you actually have to sit down and actually resolve the issues right there and then, or on that day. Otherwise, you're going to go to bed fighting. Have you ever gone into bed fighting with your fiance, husband? Can I tell you what it entails? You lot fighting over the quilt. So someone's snatching the quilt and holding it to themselves, and then that other person's trying to snatch it back, and then shifting your pillow so it's as far apart as possible. That is what fighting in marriage looks like. I'm not even gonna lie to you. For me, anyway, and it's so stupid because I don't even know where I'm going with this. But what I'll say is that it's really silly. Like, you fighting in the same household, Omo, you'll be in the kitchen, making a sandwich. They'll come in, you'll be there side eyeing. You come out the kitchen, you're trying to eat in silence. They're going into the other room.
Can you take it seriously when you argue? Because when you live in
I actually laugh because
you can't.
We're trying to avoid each other. Like, this is a 2-bedroom flat.
Yeah, words.
There's only so many rooms that you can go into. But that's what forces you to resolve it as quickly as possible. And I think it takes a certain level of maturity to do that. But yeah, back to the subject of anxiety, because this is actually turning into a marriage podcast.
I want to ask you, what is your embarrassing symptom of anxiety? Do you have one?
I stutter.
Do you?
I stutter a lot.
Okay.
When I'm anxious, especially when I'm speaking in public or I'm speaking to a crowd larger than 3, I will stutter. So this actually... One time, I was leading a meeting and I was so nervous. I actually said, I did the wee. I did it. I did it to the point where I had to like put myself on mute while still talking, because it was...
Whilst you were talking?
While still talking, because it was just continuing.
You're embarrassing.
I had to put myself on mute whilst I was still talking.
You're so embarrassing.
And then you know what I did? I pretended to sneeze. I said,
so wait,
sorry,
how
guys.
does this look? For the camera, how does this look? Because I really want to see this.
So I was doing woof it, put myself on mute, and then sneeze. Came back off mute. I said, sorry guys, I always sneeze during meetings. And then I was like, it's fine and stuff. I was thinking, hey, disgrace. I've disgraced myself.
No, you're actually a queen because you know how to cover yourself. You know how to find shame. You know how to find shame.
But that's from years of dealing with it. But that one, I said, I'm finished. And also, when I'm really... The thing about me is that because I'm so expressive, you can actually see me like anxious on my face. Like, you can see because I'll be putting extra thought into like swallowing. Blinking.
Yeah.
I'll swallow. When I'm blinking intentionally. Like, everything just feels really intentional because I have to think about it. Yeah. And like, I'm sure people are being kind when they say they can't see it, but I'm like, it's very obvious when I'm anxious. One thing I try and do when I am feeling anxious is that I actually just... This is very toxic. when I'm anxious, I basically tell myself if I mess this up, I'm going to fail in life. If I want to succeed, I have to overcome this.
This is a very you thing to do, though.
Yeah.
Jesus. There's never a break.
I know, it's bad.
It's just all the time.
It must be a trauma response. I don't understand who I'm fighting. I actually don't understand who I'm fighting.
So these times, I know what I'll bring in, so okay. Okay.
I don't know who I'm fighting.
We grew up in Forest Gate, guys. So
But
anyway.
what about you?
I
can't disgrace myself on this podcast and not, you not do it either.
No, because you know mine is always going to be worse than you.
That's true. But go on. For the fans, the entertainment. I'm joking.
No, you know what? These are for the girlies that deal with this. Do you know what? All right, guys. So, I didn't embarrass myself for this podcast, but it's fine because it's a thing. I get a leaky bladder.
Oh, you wet yourself a bit?
No, well, yeah. Well, yeah and no.
Just a little bit. It's fine because you know sometimes when you laugh really hard, that little trickle comes out.
So what I found, so you know, there will be certain points before I really realized that this is a symptom of something.
Mm.
I'd have these moments where I'm like, I'd come home and I'd be like, and this is as an adult, I'll be like, Mom, I nearly wet myself today. Obviously, okay. So backstory, I was very open with both my parents, and I'm I'm very open with my mum now. So my parents would know everything. Like I'm very much like, this happened. And I'm effectively an only child. You know, as I raised as an only child. So I was very, you know, my family, we're very close, right? So I told them things. So I'd come home with like something, and I'm very dramatic, as you know.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone can hear it through the mic with that little growl you just did.
Something is wrong with me. So cool. That was me throughout my 20s and crying on my mum's lap. No, don't get me wrong. 30 and I still cry on my mum's lap. I'll say it with chest. Anyway, so you know, I would have these little moments where I'm like, I need to go to the toilet real quick. I'm gonna wet myself, but it'll come out of nowhere. So imagine you're completely fine, and then it hits you like bam, like there's no build up like you normally. Like, oh, I feel uncomfortable. It's just like you need to find, and it will happen at certain points in my life, and I'll be like, okay, what is that? Like urinary tract? I don't know. Who knows? Cool. And then it happened around 2 years ago. Obviously, I'm well into like my years now. 2 years ago, I was like 28. I was working on a particular TV show, right? So I've taken the train from I think central London to Peckham. And again, on the train, so you take that overground, and I was fine. Not a thought in my head, really cool and collected. I don't know, thinking about the world, what I'm going to do in my career. I don't know. Everything and anything on the train. The minute I got off, and I said, this didn't touch me at all. But the minute I got off this train, actually, 5 minutes down, I was going to my in-laws at the time. 5 minutes down the road, and I was fine. And then all of a sudden, it's like your bladder went, dum. I was like, oh my God. So, right now, the walk from Peckham, Rye Lane station to my in-laws is about 15 to 20 minutes. But obviously, my bladder's hit me like badam. Like, we need to go now. It's no warning, very desperate. So, okay, I've lost, in the midst of this, I have lost my bearings. So I've walked the wrong way. I've walked the wrong way to their house. And now I'm lost. So I'm like, okay, cool. I've walked down. So it's probably like a 5 minute walk, 3 to 5 minute walk, and you get down to Benenden Road, which is another long road parallel to Rye Lane.
Did you just explain the location of where you're walking?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, go on.
For context, for people that know Peckham, you've been to, no, you don't, you wouldn't know. But anyway, so cool. It's a 5 minute walk now, and I've seen like a health clinic, and I'm that desperate that I'm like. Remember, I know I've lost my, I know I've lost my bearings, but I'm seeing a health clinic, so I'm like, okay, cool. I'm at this point of desperateness. Either I might pee behind a car, I might actually go behind a car because
we've all done it.
I'm gonna lose it.
We've all done it.
I'm gonna lose it. So then I was like, oh no, there's a clinic. Okay, cool. Gone in, everything's shut, so I can't get in. So I'm standing there like this, everything in you to hold it, right? And luckily, So I've gone back on myself. I'm still managing to hold it. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Now I'm sweating. Do you get me? You can't laugh. You can't do anything. So I've walked back and now I'm on the main road again. And I've seen a pub and I've literally, when I say, excuse me, can I just, like that, exactly like that. And ran in. Obviously, she's like, oh yeah, darling, it's just there. Ran in, caught it right in time to just, when everything comes off one time, just and pee. And I said, wow. Well, so yeah. Why are you looking at me? Why do you make me feel shame?
No, I'm just thinking you're a very dramatic storyteller. I can only imagine the way the listeners' ears are bleeding from all the shouts that you just did.
Let me say something, because imagine now, in my head, I'm thinking, I'm going to, if I wet myself right now, which I think I'm going to do, I can't go to my in-laws, but they're expecting me. I'm already running late. Yeah. So it's like, then I have to go back home and I have to explain to my partner that, I wet myself. And then
you went to go see his parents.
He has to then lie to his parents. And then I have to come back not having shame, not feeling embarrassed. No, please. But yeah, so that is what my bladder does. When I'm anxious, my bladder does stuff.
You know, if it makes you feel any better, there was one time where I actually I did it. This was years ago. This was like secondary school, yeah.
Wait, hold on, what?
There was no way I was making it to my door.
Wait, I was there. What do you mean?
No. I was on my street and there was no way I was making it to the door. I just let it go. I said, fuck it. We're close enough where no one will see me. I can't believe I'm saying this.
No, I just want everyone to know, we had long pleated brown skirts and obviously we were in tights. So those steps were really soaking up liquid.
When I say I stood there, I was like, I'm letting it go. I was literally probably 15, 20 steps away from home, but there was no way I was making it. I just stood there and I let it go.
Now the girls go through it,
But it wasn't obvious because we had the long pleated skirts and the tights.
And black
Some
tights.
trickled down, but the moment I got into the door, I had to just strip down and put everything in the washing machine.
That's shame.
But do you know what, when you're that desperate, shame goes out the window, It's survival. At that point, it's survival.
Because at that point, you have the adrenaline, and once it's released, it doesn't that high. Because everything's at peace in that one moment.
I can only imagine the sight that the person saw when they were driving past me.
Wait, someone saw you?
I'm sure someone drove past. It was after school, so that road was busy. But
it's all right. Teenagers, I feel like
no one can shame me because if you're in my position, what do you actually want me to do? What do you actually want me to do? I can't make it to the door. I can barely walk. I've been holding this since. There's
also,
no way.
Hold on. Our school was a 30-minute walk from our home.
Exactly.
So you couldn't go before? What happened?
No, I didn't feel it then. You know the ones where you feel it when you get to the door, but I just didn't get to the door. It weren't my door that I got to. But I had to let it go. I had to stand there and just let it go. Let it go. I was just before the bridge.
No, you were right by your house.
Yeah, I couldn't make it. I genuinely couldn't walk. It was crippling. And when you walk here, you could just...
You know when you stood there
Oh, when I was walking, I could...
These times, you knew both your neighbours, so if anyone saw you...
If anyone saw me, I would have been finished.
Both your neighbours were our age mates. Oh my God. But, now we're so embarrassing.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so what do you find anxiety in your 20s versus anxiety in your 30s, look like? So obviously that was anxiety in our teens, that's 20s. Yeah. But how has that changed for you, if it has?
I think in my 20s I was a lot more anxious, so I overthought everything. Mm-hmm. The way I looked, the way I spoke, the way I came across, even as deep as the way I tweeted.
Did you ever think that?
Yeah, but because I've always had a job that required me not to.
Be mindful.
I've never had the privilege of being able to use Twitter to its full. Use Twitter to its full. I've never been able to do that because of the profession that I'm in. So my Twitter is basically like my, how would I say it? It's not part of my portfolio, but
It represents you.
it
It
represents
represents you
you.
professionally as
And
well.
unfortunately, it represents whatever company I work for, whether I like it or not. I can say all views are my own. People are going to view it and assume that it's my company's view as well. So I've never had the privilege of using Twitter to its full potential, but I do use Twitter to laugh. So either way, but in terms of like, yeah, my 20s, my anxiety used to make me overthink everything. I could say something to you, yeah, and 6 weeks later, I'm still thinking about it. It's still flogging me in my sleep. Like I'm waking up like, why did I say this? Whereas
What are they thinking? Yeah.
in my 30s, I've learned to let it go. I can be anxious about it for like a day or maybe even two. But after that, I'm letting it go because I'm too old and there's too many bills to worry about for me to be anxious about something else.
Also, we know how fast moving the world is now. And I
Yeah.
think in our 20s, we were so consumed with ourselves and
Yeah.
how people view us and thinking, I mean, we still do think that some of us still do think the world revolves around us, but at least we know now that how we consume, people have their, because we're living it, we know people have their own shit going on. So, you said something. Okay, they're not going to remember
Yeah,
it
they're not
tomorrow.
going to remember it. But in my head, they'll remember it for the rest of their lives.
Mhm.
And I will, in turn, remember it for the rest of my life. Like, there's been awkward moments at work where I've been like, someone said, blatantly gone through a situation. And I'm there like, I spot them. Oh, hi, how are you? Knowing that they're not well. And then I clock after I said, how are you? And they're like, fine, you? And I'm like, I'm fine. And because now I found it so awkward because I know that they're going through a situation, I now walk away. So now I look even more awkward. And now I'm sitting at my desk like, I need to clear my desk and book a flight to Mexico because there's no way I can continue to live my life in the UK because this person's going to see me as an absolute dickhead because I've now asked them, how are you, knowing that they're going through a situation? That's how I think. I genuinely think that people remember what I say for like years. And I think maybe that's very, I wouldn't say cocky, maybe cocky of me to think that people remember me that way. But I just genuinely believe that everyone remembers what I've said to them
I don't think
for
it's
like
cocky.
years.
I don't think it's cocky because someone once told me this. Like, so it's self-depreciate. It's like a form of thinking the world. That's why I said it. It's a form of thinking about the world revolved around you, but not in a way that benefits
Yeah.
you. It's more like I am at fault for everything in the world, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's the same kind of, it comes from the same place that if your friend has something wrong, you're like, oh, did I do something? There's that energy. That's where it comes from. So insecurity, it might come from not the cockiness.
Not the cockiness.
You get what I mean? The side.
Okay, so I'm not cocky, I'm just insecure.
Oh,
That's not good either, but
we stay there, honey. No, I'm joking. We don't stay there, and that is the point of getting to our 30s. We kind of no, I won't point of getting to our 30s, but it is a work in progress from our late 20s. I find that my anxiety in my 20s, my brain did not work properly, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's nights I did not sleep. And I mean, did not sleep. I had a job in office shoes, yeah. I started training there in my early 20s. And like, I thought my customer service is the actual best, as I'm sure you can, you know. I'm a babe. I'm a babe. No, but I love customer service. Actually, I love speaking to new people. I just think it's really fun. So got this job at office and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a runner. So the person that gets the shoes for people in office, right? I'm like, yeah, that is me. I love customer service. I love helping people. And I went to the girl that was like basically operations, and like she's my friend now, lovely, lovely girl. And she was like, okay, so I'm putting you on tills. I'm like, don't do that. Don't have me handle money. No, not that bit. Like, I ain't smart enough for that. And she was like, yeah, no, that's what you're doing.
Weren't you in top set for maths?
Yeah, but I was at the bottom of top set for maths. As in, you know that puppy that's always struggling?
Yeah.
As in, okay, everybody else, so we all did our GCSEs early.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone then started doing their A-levels early. Mm-hmm. And Miss Brennan said, maybe just concentrate on the rest of your GCSEs.
I'm screaming.
That type of top set, please. Because like, people be like, oh, you're top set, you're smart. Girl, struggling for 5 years? Yeah, 5 years. Yeah, words.
You were top set. I was self-aware, so I was like set. I think I was set 2 for everything apart from English, and
You set one for English.
I was set 1 for English. I
Yeah.
don't know why, because me
You know
and
damn well
grammar.
why. You know damn well why. But anyway.
But yeah, apart from that, I was set 2 for everything. But I've always been like the person that's like, you perform well, but not too much, you know? In a manageable way. Like, I'll perform well, but like in a way that's sustainable. You get? Like, not too much to the point where it's like pressure, but it's like, you're good. But like, you know, no one's looking at you to
I was
like
on knife
invent
edge.
anything.
I was on knife edge.
But she was like Chris, Tia was like set 1 for like maths and stuff. I just thought she was super smart. But then, remember chemistry?
Oh, let's talk about it.
Chemistry.
Huh?
Chemistry flogged us so bad that we were happy when we got E's.
Huh?
And not a U.
Right, now let's talk, yeah, because I am a dramatic babe, you know? Give me the sociology, give me the psychology, give me the drama. That's what I'm good at. But somehow, obviously, my parents did what they did, and I have maintained top set in maths, English, and science actually through school. God knows how, because I was struggling. But no one, when I told everyone, guys, I'm not meant to be here. I'm not meant to be here. They just ignored me, and I'm still there, struggling. Anyway, so get to GCSEs, and I've picked sociology and drama. And my dad will come in parents' evening to to PE teacher. Don't you think Christiana should have picked more academic subjects? Now, obviously, the teachers are like, Christiana picked what she feels was best for her, you know, and she's doing well in it. So, yeah, but don't you think in this world, all right, dad, man, so cool. So it comes. Now, remember, I'm in top set for maths. So I haven't been able to start my A levels in year 11 because everyone's like, oh, just maybe because I'm poor, because I'm not good at it. They said, wait, do your rest of your GCSEs first, concentrate on that, and then you can do your A level. So I said, yes, when I come, I'm going to come and do A level maths like my peers. Okay. I took maths and I took chemistry because dad said academic. And me, I have to follow, yeah? So I did those 2, and obviously, luckily, I picked drama and psychology as well to balance. I had no business, I was about to swear, but I'm not, no business with maths and chemistry. Chemistry.
For context, me and Christiana were in the same chemistry class.
It was hell.
With brother Ron. I'm going to name him. Because that man, I think he's dead now.
He died. So let's not name him.
Well, I can name him then.
May he
he's
rest
dead.
in peace.
Like
May he
sue
rest
us.
in peace. And it wasn't him, it was Clifton. That was the head.
No, brother Ron was the
no.
He's the one
Clifton
that used to make us
worse.
come up and say what and explain to the class why we got a U.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
I deleted that from my memory.
He definitely did.
What?
He used to make us stand up.
He was a nice one.
Brother
Clifton
Ron.
was
Brother Ron. They used to do the African accent because he lived in, was it Cameroon for a while?
Yeah, I think so. It was that.
And he used to do the random African accent.
You're really unlocking memories.
Yeah,
but no, I didn't explain the you thing. I can't remember. I've deleted that. I'm so sorry.
Okay, maybe you've deleted it, but he definitely made us to stand up and explain to the class why we got a U. We'd even call out the people that got U's. But
what is there
the
to
problem
explain?
was that it was the majority of the class. So I don't know if it's his teaching and stuff, but basically chemistry flogged us to the point where we got happy when we got E's. Because we didn't.
Do you know what? But to be fair, at one point, me and Steph said, we're not getting, whether they're explaining in class, we're not getting it. So we're going to come home with our CGE, whatever it's called. And we're going to study. And I was doing this at Steph's house. And we still failed.
Yeah. It's the, you know what it was? It was the moles. The moles used to flog me. How do I calculate a mole? And now that I'm thinking about it, what was I going to use that for?
I don't know why we did
What was I going to use? I haven't even used my degree.
I just want everyone to know that we both work in entertainment.
Yeah.
So we had no business. That was never our life.
No one's ever asked me.
It was never our life.
English would have been more relevant.
Words. See, English, literary.
As you're talking about English.
No, let me find shame. Literary.
As you're talking about English.
Anyway, poetry and all of that. Linguistics.
Okay, not poetry. What am I using that for?
No, I can.
Maybe you. I wasn't using poetry.
Artiste, baby.
If I had known what I know now, I would have done a BTEC in business.
If I'd known what I know now, I'd have gone straight into TV.
I wouldn't have. Oh, wait, I didn't go to uni. I dropped out
Yes, you
twice.
did.
I dropped out twice, and then that.
Are you graduating this year?
Yeah.
All right then. So you
But
did.
I did that off my own back. But I still have the student loan to remind me that I tried to do it twice. I just
want everyone to know, yeah. Me and Steph have been through the trenches together. So we grew up on Forest Gate together. I love her. Went to primary school together, secondary school together, sixth form together, and uni together. Shit.
You need to leave me alone. As in, stop following me. I'm joking. But yeah, I went uni part 1 for me. So
Part 1.
for everyone to know, I went to uni with Chris. I dropped out after 6 months because I just couldn't take.
Was it only
the
6
ghetto.
months?
Mm-hmm. I dropped out in March. Went back
But that's
home.
actively a year though in
No,
university.
it was March. I was literally
No, but university years, that's a year.
Yeah, but uni's play. I was literally there for 6 months. I was there until March. Went back home, started working. Went into engineering, aerospace engineering.
Oh yes, you did.
And then,
oh my smart queen.
And then dropped out to actually work in entertainment because I got offered an internship and I didn't actually tell them that I was in uni. So yeah. And then I dropped out again. So I dropped out again. Then I started uni again when I was 25. So I started a part-time course in law with business, which I finished last year, June. Yes, I'm actually graduating in April. But yeah, I'm a 2-time dropout. But I got a degree.
She makes
degree.
She makes bank though, guys. I'm just saying.
Can we
Sorry.
calm down before tease? Bank is relative. But
it is.
Yeah, and now I have a law of business degree that I don't plan to use in anything, but I just want to say that I have a law degree. So from what you will get from this podcast is that I do things at the extreme end to stroke my own ego, because I genuinely believe I got a law degree just to say to myself that I got a law degree.
I spent my years trying to play catch up with Stephanie's excellence and failing.
No, don't. You are excellent in your own way. This is a trauma response that I need to get to the bottom of. I need therapy to actually figure out why I keep doing this to myself. Because currently I'm now battling myself about whether I want to do an MBA.
You are. Because I heard that today and I said, okay, we're back again.
Yeah, we're back again. But I want to go to film school first.
Oh, you cutie.
So I'm gonna do that first.
It's the gutter out here, but
and
no,
then,
it's not. It's really fun.
Then maybe I'll do my MBA. Because what I found out, MBAs are expensive.
Yep.
Why am I seeing 70 grand? That's how I know only rich people can do MBAs. Because what the hell?
Or working people.
What work is giving you? Well, if you're a banker, maybe. But like, who's giving you 70 grand straight up after all your bills?
Hey,
come on, man.
A couple 4 years. Anyway, how did you find anxiety in regards to hormones? So did you have like any moments in which you felt like the brain chemistry was? Yes, you did.
I feel like my brain chemistry is always imbalanced, but not in the
20s?
like way, but more like a. So I think life, especially my teenage years, where I went through quite a bit for my age, has really shaped how I approach life and think about things.
Yeah.
So I think for me, what was the question?
I love this for us. Like, did you find there was a difference in the hormones in your 20s in regards to how your hormones affected anxiety in your 20s? All right, let me skip. Early 20s to late 20s, 30s.
Yeah.
Do you feel there's a difference? I think there is. So like, I'll give you an example. So my anxiety was, so I started working in TV when I was 23, if I'm not mistaken. And within this, my anxiety, as I said, was running amok. So I just finished in office shoes. Well, I was kind of working in office shoes at the same time. There was crossover. But there I would have like nights of not sleeping because I'd be so on edge. I'd just come out of that. So, okay, I worked in office, kind of got my head around everything, loved it there, brilliant team, everyone was great. Started training for television, started working in television. But whatever anxiety I was dealing with was still rife and strong in my head. So I was working at a lovely place in Queensway, Central
Just
London.
naming all the locations. If anyone wanted to get you, it was so easy. It would be so easy.
Anyway, I'm still a trader. It's okay. I'm joking. Please don't say anything.
HMRC. I'll leave you to do your thing.
Anyway, so Queensway, right? Now I've had, it's not even a panic attack, but is a thing. And to this day, it's like I've only had it like a couple of times. But I left the building and I was fine. I've done my work. Obviously, I've had like really anxious moments. For me, anxiety is like, you know, that SpongeBob spinning meme. That is what my head looks like when I got nervous in my 20s. So anyway, I then I'm walking, I'm leaving Queensway, and all of a sudden someone's following me. But I know no one's following me. Look at her face. I know nobody's following me. And I'm making my way to South London at the time. I was going to my friend's house. So I'm jumpy. Like, and obviously, if you Central London, especially then. So it's 2016, 2017. So Queensway is rammed, it's busy. It's like, and I'm like, every moment, but Christiana knows nobody's following her. But there's a feeling of somebody following me. So obviously got on the Central Line call, making my way to South London, got to my friend's house. And then I'm like, the whole time walking down the road, I feel like somebody's following me. So I'm just doing, I look nuts. Obviously, again, as I said, I know nobody's following me. So like my brain is doing this battle.
Just continuously looking around.
Yeah, like, because it's like, you're just on edge. That's it. That's purely what it is. I get to my friend's house and I start bawling. I'm like, I can't tell.
Oh my God, I apologize for everyone's ears right now.
Sorry.
Because again.
Anyway, so I can't deal with it. My friend is like, do you want me to call your mum? Like, just be my mate. Just be my mate. And yeah, like I put that down completely. Again, with the not sleeping to whatever hormones you have in your 20s, as I got to my late 20s, and don't get me wrong, a lot happened in life. So we had COVID and whatever have you. So life kind of slowed down anyway, but it also gave us time to reassess who we were. Did cognitive behavioral therapy during lockdown. And yeah, like that level of extreme emotion. Don't get me wrong, I'm still highly emotional, as I'm sure you all can get from this podcast, but it's just not to that extreme level of which I would concern everybody around me.
Why are you looking straight into my eyes?
I love you. What the hell?
Please calm down, please. Okay, so basically you're saying if it's changed from 20s to 30s.
Yeah.
I say yes, because I'm less fearful of things, which is obviously triggers my anxiety. But yeah, I think that's because I've experienced a lot from a very young age. So by the time I got to my 30s, late 20s, there's only so much that can scare me.
Yeah, true.
I've done everything. Been through it. I've taken the risk. I've done it all. So by the time I got to my late 20s, 30s, there's very little that could really move me in terms of like rattle me to be anxious unless I get into my own head. If I'm doing something for the first time, cool, I'll be anxious. But after that, like I'm calm, I'm cool. So yeah, I would say I think that actually just comes from just becoming more confident in myself, and yeah, just experiencing a lot from a very young age. So by the time I got to my 20s and 30s, when probably people are experiencing the things that I experienced in my teens in their 20s and 30s, I think by the time I got there, I was just like, yeah, calm. Oh, this is happening. All right, cool. Like, if I've experienced it before, I'm not fearful of it. Whereas if it's something like a new situation, I feel anxious, but after the second time, I'm like over it. It's like second nature, I would say.
Do you think you can train out anxiety?
I don't think you can train out anxiety. If you're anxious, you're anxious. And I think it's natural to feel that in new situations and new environments. What I do think you can do is create a coping mechanism for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. So like for me, that sneeze thing is my, as weird as it sounds, is my coping mechanism. When I'm nervous in a meeting, or if I'm doing public speaking and I'm nervous and I can feel myself either about to start or starting, I just sneeze and I break the ice. Sorry guys, I sneeze all the time.
Cute.
Then not everyone's gonna know my trick. I really hope no one from work watches this because they're now gonna know that I'm actually just being anxious when I sneeze. But that's something I do because it buys me a bit of time to really kind of gather my thoughts and start again. So I think I don't think you ever like outgrow, like you can train yourself to not feel anxious, but I feel like you can definitely come up with coping mechanisms that helps you to overcome it a bit, or at least make the situation not even make the situation a bit less intimidating, but at least it gives you time to kind of gather your thoughts and reset your mind so you're able to actually just get through it.
Mm-hmm.
I think with anxiety, actually, the overthinking part is the worst part of it.
Yeah.
I think the actual like symptoms that come with anxiety, you can work through it, but it's the overthinking part that you really need to rein in. Because like I said, I genuinely think that everyone remembers what I say to them for like years and years. Like I genuinely believe people think that I can remember. Even if they say they don't, I feel like, oh, you're just being nice. You definitely remember what I said. And I think it's just kind of, you need to get out of your head.
I do think the fear of, and I've learned this because the last couple of years have been something, but the fear of something happening is always worse than it actually happens.
Yeah.
Your body learns to cope, your brain adapts. We are beautiful, really intelligent, smart beings, and our bodies work to our benefit most of the time. So a lot of the time, like the fear that we input in our heads and the overthinking and all of that, in a real life, when that situation does greet you, you adapt really quickly. So we have, and this, I guess part of it is understanding that life will dead end and will do that, but you have the capability because you've experienced enough in this life.
What does dead end mean?
There.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to my favorite segment of the show. Reddit Realness. So for everyone listening, I am obsessed with Reddit. It's like my guide to adulthood. When I was buying my property, it was my guide. When I want to know what to invest in, it's my guide. When I want to know if the council will actually put me in prison if I don't pay my council tax, it's my guide. And when I want to feel better about my life and read other people's dilemmas, it's my go-to place.
That's somewhat toxic. I
know, but am I the asshole? Is literally my favorite subreddit. Like I live for that subreddit. So
it's great though. It is really good.
So for this segment, I'm gonna read my favorite dilemmas of the week. And we can chat about it and try and imagine, because ain't nobody sending us dilemmas yet. I mean, we've got like 3 less listeners. If you are,
and we love you. Thank you
for listening. This is so embarrassing. I can't believe you're listening. Like, you should have better standards. Because why listen to us? I'm joking.
We're worth it.
We're worth it. Grow with us. Anyway.
And we'll grow with you.
So this one actually, I have my thoughts about this one, but I'm going to read it to you.
All right.
So the title is, am I the asshole when my husband doesn't tell me what he's doing all the time?
Okay.
Am I the asshole when I, female 34, get mad when my husband, male 35, does things without telling me? He owns his own office and the office closes at 5 p.m. The house is about a 20-minute drive away, but he usually gets home between 5 to 6 p.m. because he gets out late sometimes. The last situation, he went out to eat dinner with his brother and a business representative to discuss business things. The reason I got mad was he got home at 6 p.m. and never told me anything about his plans. We usually eat after we put the kids to bed. After an hour later, about an hour later, we are... wait, hold on. About an hour later, we are getting our young kids to bed, and after I ask if he's planning on cooking potatoes for dinner, he says no, but he could make some because he ate already. I ask if he's joking that he ate already, and he tells me he went out to dinner. I yelled at him for not telling me. He said he didn't need to tell me because he was still at home around the same time he always gets home, and that I'm absurd for wanting him to tell me where he's at. Not only am I mad because he didn't tell me, but the fact that he doesn't think he has to tell me. Also mad that also mad because he says he doesn't do things very often, and that once in a while is it okay because he doesn't, and once in a while is okay because he doesn't do it every day. Am I the asshole? She sounds annoying.
I'm a firm believer in people getting hobbies. I'm a firm believer in people getting hobbies.
She
Dedicate your
sounds
time to
annoying.
something else.
He usually gets home between 5 to 6 p.m. He got home at 6 p.m. You're now crying because he doesn't want dinner because he already had dinner.
I just need people to get hobbies.
This was my fear about marriage.
No, but I feel sorry for her though.
I don't feel sorry for her.
No, I do. Because whatever level of insecurity or whatever your life is, you're not fulfilled. And that's why you have that amount of energy to dedicate to that kind of situations. That's thought.
Do you
Just
know,
get a hobby, baby.
it was a red flag when she knew it closes at 5 p.m. and that it's a 20-minute drive away.
Yeah, like,
and usually gets home between 5 to 6 p.m. And you got angry because you got home at 6 p.m.
like, just
'Cause
find
he had
something you
dinner.
love. Like, baby, just find something you
I'm
love.
actually a firm believer in people finding hobbies, but also allowing your partner to actually live like a normal person. They can't be around you 24/7.
But this is the thing, it's understandable that people have insecurities. And and insecurities show up in whatever weird ways they show up. You know what I mean? And sometimes I think as an individual, you don't have control over you don't necessarily have control over the way where your insecurities show up. But I think it is our responsibility to be aware of how our insecurities affect others, and where your insecurity is now causing you to come at your man for coming home 10 minutes later, 5 minutes later, 1 minute later than he normally comes home. Girl, you need to reassess wherever it's coming from and fulfill it.
Yeah, I get I get a heads up if he's coming home later than usual. The guy literally got there at 6 p.m. Also, are they eating the potatoes by itself?
Why is that your thought?
Because what are you eating the potatoes with?
I'm guessing meat.
Like, she just said, I'll make potatoes.
Yeah, but it's a side.
Are people eating potatoes by itself?
No, it's side.
Okay,
that was
no.
Are you gonna read that? You're not gonna read it again.
I'm gonna read it again. I'm gonna read the potato section again.
You're annoying.
So look, about an hour later, we are getting our young kids to bed now. And after I ask if he's planning on cooking potatoes for dinner, he says no, but he can make some because he ate already. They just said potatoes. I didn't hear no protein there.
All right, your consensus is in the wrong place.
No, because what are they eating the potatoes with? I actually really need to know.
Go.
What are they eating?
She's pressuring her man. She might be eating potatoes by herself because she's pressuring her man to come home 5 minutes earlier.
Chris, this is actually a very serious matter because are you just eating straight carbs by itself? What are you eating the potatoes with?
And it might be jackets, actually.
Okay, but then you say, okay, potatoes with like, no, because they would have said jacket potatoes.
Let me read this. Let me see this, because if there's grammar you're missing.
No, there's no grammar that I'm missing.
Okay.
They are eating potatoes by itself.
Okay, right. We usually eat after we put the kids to bed. About an hour later, we are getting our young kids to bed, and after I asked if he's planning on cooking potatoes for dinner, he says no, but he could. No, all right, you're right.
They're eating straight up potatoes. They have bigger issues to worry about. You're the asshole for eating potatoes by itself for dinner. There you go.
Also, maybe they don't have money for protein. Now you're insensitive. Now you're insensitive.
He's working.
Can I just say, yeah, so?
If he works, he can afford chicken.
You don't know what he's working as?
Literally, M&S sell chicken for $1.99. Okay. Anyway.
I can't afford to buy chicken.
You are, if you're probably not listening to this, but I'm just going to say that you're overreacting and your bigger issues that you're eating potatoes, straight up potatoes for dinner.
Her bigger issues is she needs to find a
look into the protein options. But anyway, my next one, which actually touched me personally because I've been in this position. Am I the asshole for telling my mum I will move out versus paying $600 a month in rent? I'm going to read it.
Okay.
I'm a 25-year-old, was paying $60 a week rent for a few years. I recently started a new temp job that pays pretty decent, and they decided to keep me with the company last week. This morning, my mum texted me to say, rent starts up again, $150 a week. I just told her I will move out. I already pay for my own meals. I only have a small bedroom to call my own in the house. I can rent a studio apartment 3 or 4 times the size of my room for a few hundred more, or could rent a room with friends for less than what my mum is trying to charge me. It would be one of the things. It would be one thing if they cooked and cleaned for me every day, and I was racking up their bills. But I do my own thing. I pay my own bills. I never really even cross paths with my parents besides when I'm getting off work. My mum's definitely
Sad.
pissed that I said that. I can tell, but I don't sound like I can't read. I can. I promise you. But I'm also upset that I'm upset the person who birthed me is trying to get me to pay what I would pay a landlord for rent just to sleep in her house. Even 100 a week, I would have been more inclined to be okay with. But 600 a month just to be able to sleep at my parents' house seems a little high. If I'm paying $600 a month, I think I would deserve my own spaces around the house. Also, um, I would with the landlord. It seems having a landlord would be a better deal for me in this case.
It is a better deal.
Um,
It is a better deal. I feel like you can't compromise on freedom. Freedom is the biggest thing for me. You're not an
you know
asshole
what?
for that.
I used to pay rent when I lived at my mom's house. And basically, for me, I feel like kids that don't need to pay rent to their parents are privileged because it allows them to save more. And I was paying rent and it came to a point where I had to put my foot down because I was like, this is money that I'm actually putting towards saving for my own property. And I already made some sacrifices already in the past that meant that I had to stay a little longer in my parents' home. So I actually put my foot down and I told them I'm not paying rent anymore. And I totally understand the idea of like, contributing towards bills, etc. But at the same time, how am I supposed to be independent if I don't even have the ability to save money to actually put towards a deposit and actually move out? And it just came to a point where it was hindering my ability to actually save because I was paying money towards rent again for a room in my parents' house rather than putting that towards what would be my deposit for my own property. And then I'll speak to my peers and stuff, and it's either they're in their home, they're not paying rent, and their parents are actually giving them their deposit, or like they're staying at home and their parents aren't asking them for rent. And it just came to the point where I was like, okay, you are making me pay for a room that I've essentially grown up in, or and for me it was just like I don't even know how to explain it. Basically, yeah, I totally agree with her. If she's gonna be paying that money, she might as well move out and actually get her own space. You're paying money to basically stay in the room that you've grown up in.
The thing is, I do understand the idea, and again, I know I am speaking, and that's why I'm using inside voice because I'm speaking from quite a privileged standpoint. But I do understand, and remember, you don't know everyone's situation, so we don't know the mom's situation. So I do understand the need to contribute, but what I will say is, if you're at the point in which you can move out, and it doesn't make sense for you to stay there anymore, then you're at that point in which you need to grow and not stay there anymore. Because if you're saying, I would like my space and I can go outside and get, well, the net pluses are outside.
Yeah.
So now you're compromising on your own self.
I also feel like parents use that whole you need to pay rent as a cop out to get their children.
Do you think?
To cover bills. And I understand it if your parents are like low income and genuinely struggling and do need the help. I totally understand. Do I feel like it should be put on the child to help supplement that income? No, because I don't think that's fair. And I think, young adults should be allowed to be young adults. And I think taking on that responsibility, I don't think this whole thing of like it teaches you to how to pay bills on time, etc. in adulthood. I think that's a cop out just to make your kids contribute to the bills because you can't afford to cover it. And if that's the case, then fine. Like I totally like hear it. If the child is willing and is in a position where they can contribute, then fair enough. But to force it on your child, I think is unfair. Especially if as a parent, it is your responsibility to provide for that child. Yeah. To now put them in a position where they are now essentially being forced to contribute and actually pay towards bills, etc. I think that is unfair. Adulthood is hard. It's hard. There's bills upon bills. Trust me, there's plenty of bills waiting for them in that adulthood when they do move out. But to put that on them so early, I just think is really unfair.
I do think there's a lot of parenting ways, very dated and very just not. Again, I understand how older generations did things. But I think what's beautiful about our generation is we've kind of looked and said, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that's not feasible for a healthy grown adult.
Yeah.
And it is that I think a lot of the time people do things. And if you haven't had, one thing I do think our generation has had time to do is evaluate ourselves and
Yeah.
evaluate our upbringing and evaluate why we are the way we are
Yeah.
and question the things we were taught and question the things that we do.
Mhm.
And so we can state and say, oh, this comes from a not as healthy place.
Yeah.
And I think we see that comparison because a lot of the older generation, there's not that link. There's not that link between this is bad. It's just this thing I've got to do, and I'm just going to do it without the thought of how it affects other people around them and the later consequence. Whereas I think we're really good at being like, I don't want my child to do this because this feels horrible. Like it's hard enough to be a young person. And again, it's not to say, actually, no, I think as parents, we just want to make the world is hard. We're going to greet grief and pain and struggle. We're going to greet it anyway. So however you can ease that for your child, that's what we aim to do.
Like your home is supposed to be a safe haven.
Yeah.
And I remember I used to feel really anxious on paydays because I knew that if I was a day late with paying that rent money to my mum, she would chase me for it. And it's like, it didn't allow me to save to my full potential.
And it's not a lot of
to
money
move
at the
out.
time.
And yeah, and it's like, it's not a lot of money at the time. Bear in mind, I think at one point I was paying whilst I was on like a marketing assistant salary, which is not a lot. And like, there's things that I wanted to do. I wanted to like, go on holiday or like, just save and stuff. And I wasn't able to do that. And it may have seemed like a small amount to her, but it was a big amount on my paycheck. On top of that, I felt like I was living with my landlord. So it just came to a point. I'm paying for that one room, bear in mind. Like, do you get what I mean?
And not even have the freedom. And that's the thing about
you don't have the freedom that comes with like paying rent. So for me, I had to put my foot down eventually and be like, I'm trying to save for my property. I don't want to stay here forever. Like, I can't pay.
And in Babes' situation, if you can't say that, then if you can't say, I'm not going to pay, then you can say, Mum, this doesn't work for me anymore.
I'm
going
to
move out.
Or just let them know of your plans, because I told her my plans and she was okay with it. But I just thought I don't believe in charging your children rent or making them like pay towards bills. If it's like their own phone bill, etc., fair enough. I've been paying that since I was like 18, 19, which is fine.
16 for me. I mean, but yeah.
But I don't believe in charging your child for like rent, etc. Your home, your parents' home should be your safe haven. I get it if like you're over like 25 or like you're like 30. I know a lot of people that moved back to their parents' house during the pandemic. And obviously in that case, in that instance, it makes sense for you to contribute towards the bills. But I feel like as like, teenagers, even in your early 20s, etc., your parents' house is your safe haven. Like the economy is tough. Life is tough. The one place you should find peace, if not in your own home, is in your parents' home at least.
And you got to remember, in your 20s, like companies are not paying you well. They want to pay you the bare minimum.
They're paying you the bare minimum. And like the one place where you feel like you should be nurtured without there being some kind of transaction attached to it is your parents' home.
Yep.
So I just personally don't believe that you should charge your children for rent. And I know a lot of people have opinions about that, but I can say as someone who has been charged rent by their parent that it's not a nice feeling. You feel like you're basically buying your right to actually stay in your safe haven with your parents. Like I said, there's plenty of bills that will meet you in adulthood when you do move out. Trust me, you'll pay them on time. I don't believe in this whole thing of, make your child pay rent so they get into the habit of saving. I know there's been stories about parents collecting rent and then saving it for their child to go towards a deposit. That's a completely different thing. And I think you need to be transparent about that as well. If you are saving for your child to go towards, for that money to go towards their deposit, then be transparent about that with the child. But to say you're charging them rent to teach them how to pay bills on time, I genuinely just don't believe in it. I think as a parent, it's your responsibility to nurture your children, to provide a safe haven for them, etc. Because you're the one that made the choice to have a child. For you to now turn around and try and charge them and make it a transactional thing to be in their home, to be in their one room, to still live under your rules, etc. I think that's wrong.
And that's the hardest thing, I think, because you're abiding to someone else's rules, but taking the responsibility of an adult.
Yeah.
And that is That's unfair.
I think it's hard, especially in this economy. It's hard.
Unfair. Yeah.
And I even heard a girl, bless her, in the hairdresser yesterday when she was getting her hair done. When I was getting my hair done, in fact, uh, saying that she just lost her job and she felt bad because she usually contributes towards the bills, and she just felt so down because she can't contribute to the bills anymore. And I'm like, this is your parents' home. Like, even if you can't contribute to the bills, like, life is hard. Do you get what I mean? Like,
yeah. And the
you
economy's
should
hard. The
carrying
world
that
is
kind of
hard right now.
responsibility on your shoulders whilst in your parents' house. I just feel, like, because it doesn't sit right with me, and I think it's something, maybe it's triggering for me because I've been
You've
through it.
been
But
through it, yeah.
I know that I will never charge my children rent. I would say if they get to a certain age, where they are, old enough to move out, etc., and they haven't, maybe they're in their 30s and they've moved back in, or they're in their 30s saving for a more for a deposit, etc. The most I would do is like give them one bill to pay, but even then, or like contribute to like the food shopping if there's like this particular food that they like to eat. But it doesn't sit right with me to charge rent. But yeah, that was my Reddit realness of the week. I'll have juicier dilemmas hopefully next week, depending on what people are going through. But yeah, should we move on to adult finds of the week? Insert sound effect here. Maybe that was the sound effect. I don't know.
We don't know. We'll find out.
We'll figure out. But yeah, Chris, adult find of the week.
Life-saving. I mean, life-saving, no. It's just enabled my healthy habits to be a bit better. So it's slightly embarrassing because I feel like everyone associates it with kids, but it is an Air Up bottle. So for those that don't know, an Air Up bottle, the brand is called Air Up, but it's a water bottle. It's not even with us, but it's in the car. But it's a water bottle with like this pod that you put on the straw bit, and it gives you like a scent. So it tricks your mind into thinking it's flavored water. You smell the smell of the pod. So there's cherry cola, there's mojito, there's loads of different flavors. Virgin mojito. And yeah, so you just put the pod on. It lasts you probably like 3 or 4 refills. I might be mistaken. And yeah, it just helps my consumption of water.
Very childish that you can smell something to drink water, but that's fine. My adult find of the week is actually some form of water bottle, but it's basically a Stanley Cup dupe. Tesco selling it. It's called Core. It's a Core tumbler. Basically, on the club card price, it is £13. And let me tell you something, baby. You see, in the summer, it's gonna come through for you. If you need to keep your drinks cold, it keeps it cold throughout the day. If you need to keep it hot, it keeps it hot. It's basically like a flask, but you know what a Stanley Cup is. I know you all know what a Stanley Cup is. So it's basically a dupe of that. And I've actually put it to the test. So today I cooked jollof rice, and one thing about my flat is going to get extremely hot when I cook. And let me tell you something, the water in there stayed cold. You see that? That's a cup that can survive Lagos weather. But what I'm saying is that definitely get that if you can, especially if you have the club card as well. I think it's going to be super handy in the summer in particular. You know, in the summer when you have your water in the water bottle and it just gets warm because the room is so warm. Definitely going to happen with this cup. So I highly recommend. I personally was going to fall for the Stanley Cup hype because I'm not spending £45 on a cup.
Is it 45 quid?
Yeah.
Actually, to be fair, mine was 39 or 36. So
yeah, it's £45. But then I went to Tesco the other day and I just saw it and people were rushing it. So I was like, what's this? Turns out it's a Stanley Cup dupe and it's only £13. And honestly, I think it's actually worth the money. I don't need any more water bottles in the house, but this one was definitely one that I needed as an addition because, especially in the summer, I don't know about anybody else's properties, but when my flat gets hot, it gets hot. And so there's everything else in it, including my water bottle. So I've had to deal with like the lukewarm water in the summer, which is hell.
Unpopular opinion. I love it. I love lukewarm.
That's good for you. But Yeah, that's something I highly recommend as my adult find of the week. Definitely get it in time for summer because it's going to be super handy. And yeah, I am actually ashamed that I've fallen for the Stanley Cup hype, but I technically haven't because mine was £13, so
So
I'm
cheap.
kind of proud of that.
You did goals with that. And that's it for us today, innit?
Yeah, man. This is our first episode. I'm so sorry if it was.
Don't apologize. Why?
I mean, to be honest, it's our first one. I don't know what to say to you. It will get better. Stay with us, grow with us. Like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube. Follow us on Spotify. Rate us on Spotify. Good ratings only. And just stay tuned. Like, we will be here every Thursday.
Yeah, we're back. You ain't get rid of us.
When were we ever? Why are we back when we just started? Why did you say
I said
that?
we'll be back.
Oh, we'll be back. Sorry, I thought she said we're back. But we will be back next Thursday with another episode. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. Honestly, it's been one of our big New Year's resolutions was to actually do this. And now we're actually here doing it. So yeah, many more to come. Hopefully you stay with us for the journey. I can't wait for us to get guests. I can't wait for us to get dilemmas as well. We don't have a dilemma email because I know you lot need to get to know us a bit more and trust us before you start sending your problems. But yeah.
Thanks for listening,
Thank
guys.
you so much for listening and see you next Thursday.
New friends. See you later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.